Happy Monday to you, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a great weekend. This is part 3 of my little series on alleviating 3 of the most common fears associated with using a remote training collar to train your dog. The first fear I hear all the time is, will my dog have to wear this device forever? And I covered that in a few videos ago. And the second one was, can I physically harm my dog by using one? Okay, hopefully that's behind us as well, as we prove that you really can't. And now the third fear, will using a remote training collar break my dog's spirit? Gosh, that is probably the #1 question asked, regardless of a remote training collar at all. If you're going to use anything other than a treat, everyone wants to know, will you break my dog's spirit? Now, I really don't know what the definition of breaking one's spirit is. Spirits come in a lot of varieties. Some have the biology to handle stressor after stressor after stressor and just keep right on ticking. Others, they fold up like a lawn chair. But what I really want to harp on today is that if there is any fear out there, if breaking the spirit means creating a fearful dog, a dog that is confused, a dog that is a shell of its former self, this is a tool that can make that happen. So you hear that? I'm a huge advocate of the remote training collar, but I'm a huge advocate of using it properly, because I have seen the results, not with just my own dogs, and you've seen my own dog in over 400 videos live, his attitude and his reliability. I'm talking about all the hundreds of thousands of other clients I've helped train over the past 4 decades. And these things just keep getting sweeter and sweeter. Bluetooth, sensitivity levels, you name it. But there is a real fear. There's a reason why these things got the stigma shock collar. Because they were used by people who did not take the time, did not do the work required to study the science behind using an electronic haptic signal to train their dog. They just thought they went out and just purchased a remote control for their dog. It's kind of like, hey honey, if my dog doesn't come today, watch what's going to happen. I'll light a sorry little butt up. I guarantee you'll come then. And of course the dog didn't. And you just kept having to turn it up and turn it up, thinking you're motivating your dog to come to you, when you're actually driving your dog into the real fear behind using a remote training collar is driving your dog into learned helplessness. Meaning the animal's response is independent of the outcome. Independent of the outcome. In other words, no matter what I do, I can't get away from it. I can't control it. And let me tell you a little bit about control. Dr. Sullivan, who is one of, again, the founders of learned helplessness, the theory behind it, did many studies with rats and controlled experiments back in the 1960s. And one of the experiments, they gave rats, random static shocks. And of course, after a couple of days of just getting these random static shocks, yeah, their bodies were in an uproar. Their stress response was through the stinking roof. Okay, but then after that, they actually trained them outside of those static shocks to press a lever, and they would get food for pressing the lever. But then they transferred that back into the experiment. And so all of a sudden, the animal learned that if I was starting to get a static shock, if I pressed the lever, it would go away. Stress response bottomed out, baby. Bottomed out. They were completely relaxed, completely, let me control the wind. Yeah, well, we're about control today, baby. Control the wind back here on my paper. Okay, so their stress response bottomed out because by pressing the lever, you just gave the rat control. Control over its circumstances. Well, here's the interesting thing behind that. Is in the third phase of the experiment, they disconnected the lever. So the shocks would come, the rat would just be pressing on that lever, probably thinking, what the heck's going on here? What the heck? You know, it's pressing that lever. And the shocks didn't go away. But you know what? Their stress response still stayed in the basement. It was the illusion of control. The illusion of control that caused the animal to settle down, to calm down, to not have its body go into a stress response uproar. And they've done comparative studies with humans, placed them in separate rooms and identical rooms and sending random, loud, obnoxious noises into the room, just one after another, boom, boom, boom. People just going, oh my gosh, you're killing me here. Well, then they gave them a lever of sorts, a button to press. And they told them if you press the button, the frequency of that obnoxious noise coming into the room would decrease. So as soon as it started coming, man, they just started pressing that darn button. And next thing you know, their stress response went down, 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 down. And guess what? The button was fake. It didn't work at all. But it was, again, control. I talk to you all the time about the 4 factors of the physiological stress response. Predictive information. Which devil is worse, the one you know or the one you don't know? It is always going to be the one you don't know. And not knowing the devil makes you feel like you have no control over it. And then, of course, there's social support and an outlet for frustration. When it comes to training your dog with a remote training collar, you have to be very careful to give your dog control. Because I can't say that enough. Another human example is people flying. People flying. Okay, let me clip this down here. Give me 1 second here, people. Welcome to working out in the wind. Okay, hopefully that'll work. Hopefully you still see my board. Okay, so think about you flying. You know I'm kind of the same way. I've done over 1,000 parachute jumps. I have flown all over this world. But still, I'm a little bit more relaxed when I'm driving my car because I feel like I have some measure of control. But when I sit in a plane, I feel like human cargo. I feel no different than that suitcase down below, except I have feelings, and I'm hoping that the people up front kind of know what they're doing. So again, I can give you all these examples all day long about control. But when it comes to your dog and learning how to deal with the remote training collar, it's all about teaching your dog control of the situation. So here's how I get that thing done. Okay, first of all, there's 2 types of pairing. I've told you in many videos before, all behavioral systems, meaning come to you and call, laying down, stay in place, all of these behavioral systems develop on the basis of genetic information first. Meaning if you can tap into anything remotely related to the dog's genes, anything that's innate, anything that's phenotypic of the animal, then you're going to do much better as far as training the dog because you will be using something that's kind of familiar with. So it's very important that when you're first introducing a remote training collar that you understand that there's no genetic information for that. There's none. There's none for me. Nothing in my genes prepared me to be touched by an electronic ghost on my neck. Nothing prepared me for that. So I have to learn. And of course, what does genetic information do for you? It allows you to hunt out the source of anything touching you. So in the very beginning, I wrote up here 3 phases of teaching your dog control. 3 phases. Okay, the first phase is the green line here, the yellow X is your dog. That's you down here, probably about 10 feet away from your dog. And I'm going to use the example of training come when called. Come when called. That's probably the most important or the number 1 reason why people will purchase a remote training collar is to teach a reliable response to the command come. So I will use this as my example. Dog's here, you're here. This little black line over here is a long leash. Again, as a redundancy. Because here's what's going to happen. You're going to press the button on the remote training collar. So I'll just press this one over here. Okay, you're going to press the button. Light's going to light up. And this level here, make sure that it's just above what they can feel. It's not enough to use just what they can feel. It's got to be something that's a bit of an irritant, something that kind of places it in first place over the, the squirrel over there, that limb that just fell down out of the tree, the ball that's laying over here. It's got to be something where the animal goes, okay, so what the heck is that? And can that go away? So when I'm first training come when called, I have a long line attached to the dog, and I say, come, and I press the button on a continuous mode. And remember, all remote training collars have a continuous mode. And of course, I give the dog a second or two, and you see them, every single one, the very first time, if you've got it right at the, what I call an irritant level, here they go. What the heck is that? And they're looking like all over the place. They're trying to find, what is the source of this stinking thing touching me? And you're still sitting on that darn button. And you're going, come again. I swear if the dog could talk right at that moment, it'd probably go, I heard you. Give me a second. There's something out here. It's getting me, and I need to figure out where it is and what it is. Well, at that point there, you just start reeling that dog. Why are you holding that button down? All the way to you. And then when the dog gets to you, it goes away. You let go. Now, your average dog, not even the super smart ones, but your average dog, I have learned over the years that about 10 of those, if now they could talk to you again, you'd hear them going, okay, I don't know what that is. I haven't quite figured out the source of it. But I have taken note that when you say come, I feel it. And when I get to you, it goes away. Bingo! First level of control. Okay, so you're starting to learn, dog, when it comes. I'm giving you predictive information. I'm the devil you're about to know. Here it comes. Come. Yep, you're going to feel it right there. Solid line. I hold it the whole time till you get here. That's why I'm only about 8 to 10 feet away, because remember, the USDA only allows 10 to 12 seconds. So I want to be close to my dog. Give it a second or two, then reel your dog in. Well, now they have predictive information. They start to feel like they have some control. Okay, I don't know what it is. I haven't quite figured out it's actually coming from Bryan yet. I just noticed that when this auditory signal come, I can hear it. I can feel a haptic signal on my neck, and I've noticed that when I get to Bryan, it goes away. Bingo! Hey, and guess what? It's the same thing for heel. Notice when you're out there, I say heel, you feel it, and then when you get over here next to me, it goes away. And notice when I say sit, you feel it, and when your butt hits the ground, it goes away. Same thing with down, and so on and so forth. That's giving the animal control. This is not a correction tool during this phase. Note that. Listen to that. Let me say that one more time. This is not a correction tool during phase 1 or phase 2 at this point here. And I'm going to go over it. That's what that long line is. That's the thing that ensures that your dog does go from point A to point B when you say come. It makes sure that that occurs. Okay, the next phase. Now, how would you know you're ready to go to the next phase? Because you're not reeling the dog in. The dog is really starting to come to you on its own, and it's looking directly at you. By now, after about 200 repetitions, notice I said 200, 200, for all you impatient people, all you people that only have the attention span that TikTok can satisfy. For the rest of you out there with your dog's state, your dog's mental state, physical state, its relationship to you requires a little bit more patience, a little bit more attention. Notice 200. Okay, after 200 times, most dogs, the average dog, will look directly at you when you say come. I don't need to look at the ground anymore. I don't need to look at the sky. I filtered all that out in the last 199 repetition. I think it's you. I think you're doing it. Well, I am. Bingo. Let's go on to phase 2. Phase 2. Now here what we do is this. Again, at the irritant level. Now we have two levels. We still have our irritant level. Whatever the level that is. I don't know what it is. Just enough to, again, not a correction, but the dog's going, can it go away, please? Can it go away? Yeah. So here we say come. Solid line for about 1 to 2 seconds. Or about 1 to 2 strides. Come. Press button on the irritant level. Dog immediately responds, like touch them on the shoulder, say, hey, I just called you. Now they start coming towards you. When you see them moving in your direction, let go. That would be the dotted line. That dotted line represents you bragging about your dog. Oh, look at my dog come. I'm telling you what, don't you wish you had my dog? Man, what a cool dog I had there. Look how good he's coming. Wait a second. Notice the curve here. Dog not coming to me anymore. Dang. So now I repeat the command come, but notice the red line. The red line has got to be a significant step above the irritant level. And I find that for most dogs, that's somewhere between 5 and 10 on those remote callers that have at least 100 levels. On those that only have 16, probably just 1 notch up. Again, you've got to respond. You got to feel it. This is reactive, like a flow chart. Dog reacts this way, you go that way. Reacts this way, you go that way. God, it's just not straight up and down here, not black and white, baby. You got to feel it. Okay, so here, the dog is going to, not coming. It decided, oh, hey, I was coming, but there's something over here I need to go check out. And right here, now you press the button a higher level, and this is where the dog's, okay, I'm coming. And sure enough, as soon as it rights itself, back to a dotted line, you let go, and of course, you always praise the dog handsomely. I say some of my best rewards for come to me when I call you. The very best rewards. Absolutely. Okay, third phase. Notice a couple of differences here. No long line. So I recommend that when you first try this out, and by the way, you're about 100 to 200 repetition here. So now we've got a total of anywhere from 200 to 400 repetition between just these first two phases, typically about 2 or 3 weeks worth of work for the average dog owner. Okay, by the time you get to this phase here, we are now ready to find that level. In other words, here the animal learned how to make it go away in phases 1 and 2. All right, I felt it here. I didn't get an opportunity to do anything about it. Initially, I just felt it because it came with the command come. It came with the command come here. But over here, we step into a third, the most important phase. How do I avoid it altogether? Is there a way that I can just come to you and just get the benefit and not deal with the cost at all? Can I do that? Absolutely, you can. So in this phase here, off goes the long line. I recommend when you first train this, that you do get into a fenced scenario, maybe a baseball field, tennis court, your yard, what have you. Just let that fence be your redundancy. Okay, now we say come, and we just start bragging on our dog. Look at those dotted lines. We're not pressing the button at all. We never pressed it at all. You probably had this thing on a belt clip, probably using your little Bluetooth, got the darn thing in your backpack like I do. Your dog is coming, man. Oh no, wait a minute. Where are you going? So right there, we realize, okay, well, the dog has diverted from its intended flight path to me, and I need to correct that dog's travel route. So here I go ahead and press the button, but again, the difference here is if that worked, stick with it. If that was a little slow and the dog starts hardening to it, dial it up a little bit. And I typically dial up 3 to 5 at a time. Again, on those remote callers that have 100 levels or greater, those who have less, typically just 1 at a time until I feel it. As soon as the dog rights itself, bingo, you let go, and they're on their way to you. Okay, so by doing that, you've given your dog plenty of opportunity to try and figure out what is the source of it, but most importantly, how do I make it go away in phases 1 and 2, and how do I avoid it all together in phase 3? Captain has been in phase 3 for 5 years. No remote collar, no nothing. I even posted a video of me just randomly from my backyard. He was out on the levee by our lake, about 100 yards away, and I thought, I'm just going to shoot this darn thing. So I hit video, and I just yelled cattle dog. And if you go on that very first timeline of the very first video I did on alleviating fear, where your dog had to wear the collar forever, you'll see Captain immediately respond, and bingo, you see him jump up on that deck, and he's like, hey, dude, what we doing? That's what I'm talking about. It's about control, people. About control. Okay, so just as a short, all animals will go through natural pairing first. That's why you got to do this here, because they're just going, hey, is it the sidewalk? Is it that tree? Is it that bush over there? What the heck is that darn thing? And of course, they get to you, it goes away. So they start to learn, okay, I don't know what it is. But I notice when you say come, I feel it, get to you, it goes away. And second phase there, you say come, I feel it, but hey, you know what? It went away. Well, I'll just keep on traveling there. But then all of a sudden, I'm distracted by something else and motivated to go that direction. So now I feel a higher level, which makes me go, okay, well, that was uniquely different. And I would kind of like that to go away, please, in a real hurry. And sure enough, they do. And they come to you. And then finally, the third phase, they bargain with you, negotiate a settlement. I tell you what, if I can avoid that, I'll come to you every single time. Does that work? Yeah, man, give me a high five. We're on our way. Again, guys, I've been doing this for 4 decades. I can tell you with absolute certainty, those dog owners that are patient, those dog owners that give the dog the control of the situation through the remote control. Yeah, you have some control. I'm not going to kid you there. But the dog has the greater control. Through all three phases, I've yet to see a broken spirit. I've yet to see anything but the happiest darn dog owners and the happiest darn dogs in the whole wide world, because there is nothing like running free. There's nothing. Captain was exploring on the other side of that lake. He actually goes in the lake and fetches sticks out of there. He has a wonderful life here in the mountains everywhere. Because I know that if I need to call him back to me, it'll happen. So that has set him free. And it has set me free. Lowers my blood pressure. Gives me some control. Makes my heart go pitter-patter. All right, guys. I haven't steered you wrong yet. I'm not steering you wrong on this. So those are it. Those are your three fears. If you want a dog like Captain, you want a dog that will respond to every command that you give it instantly, with an unbroken spirit, heck, a better spirit actually, because they have control, baby. I have control of everything. Then this is a route that you should explore at a minimum, at least explore it. But make sure you do it right. I have other videos on remote training. I have a video you can purchase called Remote Training Collar Fundamentals. There's no excuse. Remember, you're only stupid because you are. And what that means, that deeper layer that means, my mentor said, is you don't make the effort to not be stupid. You don't make the effort. It's willful ignorance. Don't be one of those. Don't be. Follow the instructions. Get it done right. Have any questions, send them out there. Post them. Ask them. Send them to Bryan at tamingthewild.com. Reach out to me, and I'll make sure you do it right. All right, guys. That wraps up this video series. Stay tuned for the next one. I'm going to talk a little bit about why does your dog kind of go off on every darn dog that's approaching it, or maybe just a particular type of dog? Why does this occur? In other words, why do our dogs use aggression during certain encounters, especially out on sidewalks or walks around the home? So many midnight dog walkers out there. I want to start talking a little bit about that, what causes it, like I always explain, and how to make it go away. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your beautiful day. I hope you have a beautiful day wherever you are. Be productive today. Be patient. Your dog deserves a little more than just a 3-minute video. Take care.